So welcome in the sanctuary, everybody. How wonderful it is to be here with you on this great good day. Last week we looked at what religion was, and we are aware that religion is a human construct and that religion rises up out of culture. It's out of cultures that religions flow. And within religion, there are all kinds of rules and regulations and all kinds of rituals and all kinds of understanding of how we're supposed to be under that common banner of whatever the religion is. And it is something that you and I sometimes feel obliged a lot as we participate in it to embrace all that it has to offer. And it's a beautiful thing, and it's a wonderful thing, and it serves a wonderful human need and purpose. But today we are looking at spirituality and what spirituality is. And of course, spirituality is that which pertains to spirit. Spirituality has a much more universal and unifying understanding to it. It is common to each and every one of us, spirituality, and it just means that we are spirit-full. We are spiritual entities. We are that liquid crystal light energy that everything is, but we are that in a particular and unique and individualized way. And so Ernest Holmes says in Living the Science of Mind that spirituality is our constant and continuous attempt to feel the presence of God and the presence that God is by means of each one of us in ourselves and in everything and everyone else. He also says in the same book, Living the Science of Mind, that spirituality is common goodness, human kindness, brotherly love, natural truth, and heavenly worship. Heavenly meaning interior worship of the great I am, the truth that I am. And he says, too, that the difficulty may be in this new thought, in this new order of things and the way we're thinking now, that there might be the tendency for us to get over concentrated upon the theory of it all and neglect the practice of it all. And that is, neglect the understanding that it is up to you and it's up to me to embody these things that we now know to be true, to embody the truth that's going to set us free. That each one of us is indeed much more than the humanity that we are displaying here on three-dimensional planet Earth. Very dense plane, beautiful and gorgeous though it be. But it is three-dimensional plane, and in my Father's house, in the kingdom of consciousness, there are so very many endless mansions for you and for me to experience if we so desire. But for some reason, you and I chose to have this three-dimensional experience at this moment in time, and how wonderful that is. It's beautiful on this plane. This is a beautiful, beautiful world where we landed in and that we chose to live in. And so the call for you and for me today is to understand, again, I will keep expressing this because it keeps pushing itself through, for you and for me to know the rest of ourselves, the more of ourselves, the whole of ourselves that wants to be in expression now at this time. We seem to be ready to express all of this wholeness now at this time. And so going back a little bit, as I was sharing this morning, many of us have experienced the way of being prayerful in life was to say our prayers regularly. And as we did say our prayers, we were pouring out our spiritual guts with regard to all of our trials and our tribulations and our worries and our concerns and our anxieties and our doubts and our fears. And we were saying, oh, please God, oh, please God, oh, please God, help me. Please, God, have mercy upon me, a miserable sinner. Please, God, take care of me. Please, God. And of course, that's not our understanding and our awareness now, because when we're doing that, nothing much is happening because there is no unmercy in this thing called life, in this thing called God. There is no unforgiveness in this thing called God. That unmercy and unforgiveness is in you and it's in me. It's not in the absolute. There's none of that in the absolute. The absolute is whole. It's complete. It doesn't need to be in the process of dishing out forgiveness and mercy and so on. It doesn't dish out forgiveness and mercy and so on. Knows nothing of that because it is a whole and a perfect and a complete thing. So its energy and its essence is not in those directions at all. That's in you and that's in me and it's in our humanity. That's the human construct that we think we need mercy, we need forgiveness, and so on and so forth, because it was drilled into some of us anyway. Oh, God, be merciful to me, a sinner. All the time, oh, God, be merciful to me, a sinner. Now, how can you possibly come into your sovereign awareness of being if all the time you're saying, oh, God, be merciful to me, the speck of the earth, the sinner, miserable sinner that I am? And that's what we identified ourselves with. And of course, none of that has anything to do with life in its fullness, in its wholeness. It has nothing to do with the divine design for you and for me. I have come that you may have life and have it in abundance. I have come that your joy may be complete. I have come that you may know the peace that passes understanding. All of the gifts of the kingdom are available to you. All of the gifts of the kingdom I give to you. They're available. All you have to do is seek first the kingdom of consciousness and its beauty and grace, and then everything else can be yours of good. That's the teaching. That's the teaching. However, when we say all the gifts of the kingdom are available to you through the divine, it's not that this wonderful, benevolent God somewhere ready to dish out to us, spiritual candy anytime we need it or want it or desire it or ask for it. The kingdom, with all of its goodness and fullness and all of its gifts that we're talking about, is right here. It's the kingdom that resides in our higher power, in that moreness of ourselves, the rest of ourselves, the greatness of ourselves, the fullness of ourselves, and the wholeness of ourselves. It's right here. It's not out there anywhere. There isn't a God out there that's going to dish out to us whatever is the flavor of the day and whatever ticket we pick and whatever it is we want and ask for from out there. There's no getting anything from out there except upsetness and anxiety and fear and nonsense and ignorance. And so today we're asked, as we look at ourselves as spiritual being, to get it, perhaps today, for the first time, some of us, that the godliness and the goodness is right here where I am, and that I get to look at myself as more than my humanity today. I get to look at myself as more than the appearance that I am today. I get to look at more than all of my conditions and circumstances and situations that I have in my life today. I am so much more than that. And so that when we become consciously prayer-filled, what we are doing is knowing very strongly that the good that I desire is available to me right now, and it's available to me from within me, from the greater self of myself, and that I announce that good splendidly and powerfully and strongly, and that the great I am is that which is going to release that through me out into my life as an experience, because I have known it, I have owned it, I have claimed it, I have said it is so, and I have put my stamp of approval upon it by saying amen. And I have to be very careful to what I say amen to. It's a very potent word. Amen means so it is, this is the way it is, and it is done, it's finished, it's complete. And I can go off about my business knowing that that good that I desire is there for me, and I am supposed to, and I will have it. There's no doubt about it. When I am finished the process of truly becoming wholly one with the good that I desire by owning it, knowing it, feeling it, tasting it, touching it already within my purview, within my interior self, because that's where the power resides. And what I know within myself is going to be known outside of myself. Absolutely it is. So the idea of you and I speaking the word and saying amen to the word is such a potent process. We need to be very, very conscious of what our focus is. We need to be very, very conscious of what we are saying yes to and laying claim to. The God I am. So when the good master Jesus was asking the question, who do they say I am? He wasn't saying, who do they think Jesus is? He was saying, do they know the I am, the great I am, and what the great I am is? Do you know what the great I am is? Do you know that the I am, those two very small words, are the most potent words ever spoken or ever could be spoken? I am. I am what? I am that. That what? I am the wholeness and the fullness and the image and the likeness of my source through my spirit as my spirit. I am the emanation of the divine. That's how I am the image and likeness of the divine. I'm the image and likeness of the divine in my spirit, in my wholeness, in my completeness, in my pristine state that has always been pristine in its state. That's what the I am is. And so when I say I am, I do be careful about what I say after I am as much as possible, because it's a statement of truth, and it's a statement of what is, and it's a statement of what I'm going to experience. I am that I am, and what I am, and who I am, and how I am depends on my identification of myself as more than this wonderful human being that each one of us is. But understanding that the human being is in service to the spirit I am, because I need to be in form while I'm on this plane. And that form is the form of a human being. So I am, I always will be, always was, that wonderful spirit in expression, the God I am. The good I am, the whole I am, the complete I am. I have always been that and nothing less than that, although my humanity may have run away with me at times and expressed itself in a way that would not indicate I am at all. And that's okay too, because that's part of our experience on three-dimensional planet Earth. But you and I have the invitation today to understand that that can all be sorted out, taken care of, and put in perspective, and we can live a unified life with the divinity and the humanity of ourselves converging, so that you and I can live the way we were meant to live, that life in abundance, the joy that is complete, and the peace that passes understanding, without the shadow of a doubt in it. We certainly can. It is done unto you as you believe is such a simple sentence. And Troward would remind us of that truth in a way when he would say, you know, that we are always going to manifest our thinking, our feeling, and what we are convicted of. We will indeed, at a universal and individual level, and that we can. And that, again, as we know from our studies, that life corresponds to us. And it corresponds to what we're thinking and what we're feeling and how we're being. There's no getting away from that. And again, I say, if I want to know what tomorrow is going to be like, it's going to be like today. So that when I speak my word, I need to be consciously speaking my word. It's not always easy in this day and age with so many things that we're plugged into and tuned into, and so many demands upon our attention, and our tendency to let a whole lot of other things think for us, or even other people think for us. Nowadays, it's very hard to work something out in your mind. Straight away, you see people, I'll Google it. Before I have a thought about it myself, I'll Google it. And so God, the God of Google has spoken. The God of Google has spoken. We bow down to Google. Yes, we do. And it's always right in our minds. And we haven't given it another thought. Well, Google says. Google says. So you see what our tendency is like? Our tendency is like unto, handing over our power to in every which way but loose. And we don't seem to want to even inquire into that infinite wisdom that is within us, into that wonderful source of information that will bring us the best answers, that will bring us the best advice, and so on and so forth, and solution. And we don't bother with that. And you see, in order for you and for me to live as spiritual beings, there is this component of mindfulness, to be connected and present wherever I am, with whomever I am, however I am. And it has been shown over and over and over again that the practice of mindfulness, which is not religious, it could be part of religion, which is not necessarily, we're going to say, spiritual, but it certainly is spiritual. It's just mindfulness. It's presence. It's being here. It's being awake. It's being alert. I see you. I hear you. I'm listening. I know that we have had this connection. Not what usually goes on out there in the world in general. So this mindfulness has been proven over and over again to make such a difference in our lives and living. They have done this mindfulness with Marines who have gone through their dreadful training that they have to go through, and so on and so forth, in order to make them ready for the battlefield, and so on and so forth. And they have found that the ones that they did mindfulness training with had far, far less stress than the ones they did not do mindfulness training with. And I mean, it doesn't have to take that kind of a study to show us how important mindfulness is. All I know is that when I meet somebody and they're very present and they're very mindful and they're very tuned in, it feels really good. You come away from that encounter with somebody feeling really, really good. And they will tell you the same thing if you're really present and you're hearing them, and so on. And so if you and I want to be the spiritual beings that we are, it does require us to be awake. It does require us to be present, and it does require practice. I mean, the practice of mindfulness is something that grows superbly when you start out in the beginning and you keep doing it, and you keep endeavoring, and you keep endeavoring, and you keep endeavoring. And then your whole life changes as a consequence of that. And when you have started the endeavor and you stop it, you feel the difference. It's like anything. You go to the gym, and when you're going to the gym, it's great. And then when you stop it, you feel the difference. Whatever good it is you're allowing yourself to experience, when you stop it, the difference is very palpable. So mindfulness is what is calling us this week, this day, and I suppose for the rest of our lives too, if we want to live as spiritual beings and not only as human beings. And so for that to happen, you and I could make a decision today that I'm finished and done with all of the limited thinking, the icky feeling, the this and the that and the other that's not right in my life. I'm finished focusing on that today. Today I'm going to start the endeavor to get in touch with that whole pristine state of me, the rest of me, the best of me, the more of me, that's absolutely digging from the inside out at those spiritual ribs to say, oh, for goodness sake, wake up, look, I'm bursting, I'm pregnant with all of this good. I want to express through you, let me out. Let me out. That's what it's saying all of the time. And that's why you and I sometimes feel angst, and sometimes feel, even though things are going well and going good, there's something else. And that's what the something else is. It's your greatness. It's your powerfulness. It's your potency. It's your wholeness. It's your wellness. It's your abundant self wanting you to allow it to express through you by recognizing it, identifying with it, and then going with the flow of it, because you and I are in the flow of this eternal, amazing, beautiful, incredible, crystal light energy that is just so palpable when we tune into it even a little bit, and you and I can be in the flow of it and flow with it magnificently. The divine flow is in me and I'm in it, and I flow in it and it flows through me magnificently. If we could keep reminding ourselves of this, we wouldn't get ourselves into the scrapes that we get ourselves into. We wouldn't be in those limited states, whatever they are, that assail us from time to time. Don't you want to know yourself as Spirit knows you, is the question. It's rhetorical in the room today. But don't I want to know myself as Spirit knows me? Yes, I do. In spite of myself when I forget, fall asleep, and don't realize who I am and what I am and how I can be. So when you and I are in that prayerful state, that meditative state, that contemplative state of open receptivity to the greatness of ourselves, one with the whole sense and sensitivity that the great I am is what I am, is who I am, and how I can be. The great I am. That's all I need to know to mend, to fix, to heal anything. I'm one with the great I am, and the great I am is one with me. And I can close my eyes. Do it now. Close your eyes right now, please. I invite you to close your eyes right now. Now see yourself. Take a deep breath. See yourself as faceless, as formless, as shapeless. Feel yourself as the energy of life itself. That's who and what I am. I am in truth this enormous, amazing, unlimited, unbounded energy. It is a creative energy. It's a powerful, magnificent, intelligent energy. That's who and what I am. And I am one with it now. I'm one with it now. Sink right into it now. Any good thing that you wish to express in your life, think it in this beautiful crystal light energy, unlimited energy and power. I am. Think that thing into it. Think it into it. Say yes to it. Feel the feeling into it. Say yes to it. This I am. This good I am. I am this good, and I am this good now. I am this good now. And this good now is ready to express itself in my life. And I know that what I'm knowing now, what I'm feeling now is the truth that sets this good free to show up in my life as a blessing in my life and as a blessing to all life. I am that I am, and the I am that I am is this good realizing itself in and through and by means of me now. And this is so, and I say amen to it. I claim it, I own it. It is mine now, and so it is. And I breathe in again and breathe out, and I come back into form. This is how we could pray This is how we could realize the good that we desire. This is another way for us to identify with the true essence and the spiritual being that we are. And we are it and have been it and we always will be it. And now, however, is the only time you and I can own it and claim it. And are we going to? Yes. Well, again, say with me, the God I am. Louder. Louder. Amen. And so it is.